Hi everyone, this is Jim from Jim Shaped Coding, and on this one we are going to continue learning about for loops, and I want to show you more examples of what you can iterate on and prove you that not only on lists you can make an iteration. So basically in the last one we understood that you can iterate over a list and access each element at a time, but you can also do that with strings, for example, alright? Because we can think about a string as multiple characters combined together, and you can iterate over each of your characters. So if I take, for example, name equals to Michael, what I can do is I can create a for loop that is going to iterate over each character on this string. So we can start creating here a new for loop and make it this way. So I got 4, and here I want to insert a variable that is going to be used only inside the for loop, so it makes sense to call it character. And now I can hit the in keyword and specify that I want to iterate over the name. Now I hit the colon sign and I can print each character by calling the character variable. And if I run this, you see that I get all the letters all in separated lines. So let me show you one more thing that could be very useful when you use for loops. So let's go back to iterate over list, and this time I will create some numbers here. So let's just hit some random numbers. Great. And what I want to do is actually print the number that comes after each element. So for 1 we will print 2, and for 6 we will print 7, and so on. So what I can do is, again, starting a for loop and picking up a variable name right there. It makes sense to call it number. And now I can hit in numbers like this. And what I want to do is actually printing the number that comes next. So it makes sense to create a new variable that is called, for example, increased. And this is going to be equal to number plus 1. So what I do here is I pick up the number each time and I increase it by 1 and storing it inside the increased variable. And now I can print increased. And if I run this, I get the perfect result. Let me make that bigger. And you see that I get 2, 7, 8, 5, 10, 8, which makes sense because all the numbers here are lower by 1. And now I want to show you one more last thing that will really help you to understand how for loop works. Because when I first learned about the for loops in programming languages, I did not understand very clear how the magic of running multiple things happens, although we have only 3 lines of code. So let me debug this program here, and let's create a breakpoint in the line there and try to debug this. So when I execute this program, it will immediately stop in the second line, and from there I will have control. So let's debug this program. Great. And now let's make this bigger. So as you remember from episode 17, we learned how to debug, and until now we only have the numbers list as being shown, and you see that it's shown nice in the orange color. Let's try to run one more line of code. Now I get, make that a little smaller, and this one will fit there. Great. Now I got that number variable is equal to 1. And if I run this one more time, you see that the increased variable is added to my Python memory, as you see in the frame below. And then I will just execute the print, which is not relevant for now, so I will just run it one more time. And what happened now is quite interesting, because we saw how Python jumped back from the 4th line to the 2nd line. And this will happen until all the numbers in this loop will be executed. So to show you here, right now the number variable is equal to 6. But if I execute one more line, you see how number is being changed from 6 to 7. So it means that we are iterating over this one right there. And if I run this one more time, you'll see that the increase is also changed from 7 to 8. Pay attention to that orange color. This actually shows us that the value has changed. So this is how for loop is working behind the scenes, and every time you forgot that, or every time you want to understand deeper the process, you can try to debug your for loop, and this will really help you, and it also helps me to understand how for loop works in Python. So this was about it, and I really hope that this episode was a clear point, that from here you have more confidence with what loops are about. So I will see you in the next episode, where we are going to start another training project, which is going to be challenging and very interesting. So I will see you in the next episode. Don't forget to crack up the subscribe button and also like this video. See you in the next one.